It was just a regular afternoon when 35-year-old Karen Mitchell kissed her two kids goodbye, grabbed her purse, and headed out for a quick shopping trip. Her husband, Mark, remembers standing at the doorway, watching her wave before disappearing. Down the street, that was the last time anyone saw her. Hours passed, then days, then weeks. Police searched the area. Her car was found abandoned in a mall parking lot, keys still in the ignition, shopping bags untouched. But Karen was gone without a trace. No signs of struggle, no calls, no clues. Her disappearance left a deep scar on the family, especially her daughter Emily, who was only 6 at the time, as years turned into a decade. The Mitchells tried to move on, holding on to fading hope. But in the back of their minds, one question haunted them every single day. What really happened to Karen? The case went cold till 14 years later, when a simple home renovation led to a shocking discovery hidden behind a basement wall. A box, dusty, locked, untouched for years. What they found inside didn't just reopen the case, changed everything they thought they knew about Karen's life. Who was she really? And what secret had she kept buried for so long? What the family uncovered would send shockwaves through their entire world, and finally reveal the chilling truth about the day she vanished. But the truth came with a price, and not everyone was ready to face it. The box was small, metal, and surprisingly heavy. Mark hesitated before opening it, his hands trembling slightly. Emily, now 20 and home from college, stood beside him, heart pounding. When the lock finally clicked open, neither of them were prepared for what lay inside. Inside were old photographs, letters, and a worn leather journal with Karen's handwriting on the cover. There were also newspaper clippings, some about missing persons, others about a woman named Claire Bennett, a name no one in the family had ever heard before. But the photo paper clipped to one article made their blood run cold. It was Karen, younger, with a different hairstyle, smiling beside a man none of them recognized as Mark flipped through the journal. Karen's neat handwriting slowly unraveled a story no one saw coming. The entries hinted at a life before Mark, a different city, different name, and secrets she never planned to reveal. Emily, trying to piece things together, remembered strange moments from childhood. A man who showed up at school once, claiming to be a friend of her mom's. The way Karen avoided certain topics. The way she'd sometimes cry alone in the kitchen. Late at night, the more they uncovered, the more the mystery deepened. Why had Karen changed her identity? What was she running from? And how did it all connect to her disappearance 14 years ago? Just when they thought they were getting closer to answers. One letter inside the box ended with a warning. If you're reading this, it means they've found me. Mark sat in the quiet of the living room, the letter trembling in his hand. The warning at the end kept echoing in his mind. They found me. Who were they? And why had Karen felt the need to run to erase her past and build a new life with him and their children? Emily, still in shock, began digging through the journal, searching for clues. In one entry, Karen wrote about feeling watched, about someone from the old life getting too close. Another page mentioned a woman named Linda, possibly a friend or someone who helped Karen disappear all those years ago. Emily tracked down the name online and found a Linda Holloway living 2 towns over. Without telling her father, she reached out and arranged a meeting. When she arrived, Linda seemed nervous, like she had been expecting this moment for a long time. She refused to say much at first, only admitting she once knew someone who got out. But when Emily showed her a photo of Karen, Linda froze. Her hands shook. She told me if anyone came asking, it meant she was in real trouble again. Back. Hallmark continued flipping through the clippings. One article stood out about a businessman found guilty of fraud and linked to a string of suspicious disappearances. And in the corner of a photo from that article, there was Karen again. younger, dressed differently. But definitely her. It was now clear. Karen hadn't just disappeared. She had been running from someone dangerous, and they might not be far behind. Emily left Linda's house with more questions than answers. Linda had warned her to stop digging, saying the people Karen once escaped from were powerful, connected, and ruthless. But Emily couldn't walk away now. Back home, she and Mark went deeper into the journal, piecing together a trail of names, places, and dates. It became clear that Karen's past was tied to something far more dangerous than they'd imagined. Network of people involved in illegal activity. Ones Karen may have witnessed or been forced to help before she vanished. The pressure started to mount. Emily noticed a black SUV parked across the street 2 nights in a row. Mark got a call from an unknown number. No one spoke, but he could hear someone breathing. The sense of being watched grew stronger. Every creak of the house at night sent a chill down their spines. The journal hinted that Karen had planned to leave again, just before she disappeared. But something or someone got to her first. Then Emily received an anonymous message online. Stop asking questions. She's gone for a reason. She didn't know who sent it or how they found her. But it confirmed what they feared. Someone knew they had the journal. Someone knew they were getting close. Late that night, Emily heard footsteps in the backyard. When she pulled back the curtain, the SUV was there again, this time, idling at the curb with its lights off. What had Karen uncovered all those years ago that still scared people today? And how far would they go to keep it buried? Emily backed away from the window, her heart pounding. The SUV sat motionless, but she could feel someone watching. Mark quietly grabbed his phone and called the police, but by the time they arrived, the vehicle was gone. No plate, no trace. The officer brushed it off as a coincidence, but Emily knew better. Something was closing in. The next day, while sorting through the attic for more of Karen's things, she discovered an old shoebox taped beneath a floorboard. Inside were cassette tapes labeled only by date. Curious, Emily borrowed a neighbor's player and listened. What she heard chilled her to the core. Karen had been recording her thoughts, confessions, fears, and warnings. One tape, dated just a week before she vanished, revealed that someone close to the family wasn't who they claimed to be. She didn't name them, but Karen said she felt betrayed by someone she once trusted, someone who had helped her build her new life. Emily couldn't believe it. Could someone from their everyday world, maybe even a friend or neighbor, be connected to her mother's disappearance? As the pieces started falling into place, the second twist hit harder than anything. Mark found a hidden envelope inside the journal's back cover. It contained a copy of an old marriage license. Karen had been married before, but the name of the husband was David Holloway, Linda's brother. And according to public records, he had died under mysterious circumstances just months before Karen met Mark. Was it an accident, or the real reason she had to vanish forever? Emily stared at the name on the license, barely breathing. David Holloway, Linda's brother. It all started to make sense, the fear in Linda's eyes, the half-answers, the warnings. Emily rushed to confront her, and this time, Linda didn't hold back. She confessed everything. Karen had once been married to David, a man involved in criminal dealings who became violent when Karen tried to leave. After his death, thunder suspicious conditions. Karen feared his associates would come after her, thinking she knew too much. With Linda's help, she disappeared, changed her identity, and started over. But someone must have tracked her down. Linda revealed one final detail. Karen had contacted her days before vanishing. She believed someone close had uncovered her secret and was going to turn her in to the very people she'd run from. Emily's mind raced. Could it have been someone in their circles, someone they still knew? Then the final twist came, when Emily received a call from an investigator she had quietly hired weeks ago. The man on the line had traced the black SUV. Not to a stranger, but to a private security firm. The client, Mark Mitchell, her own father, in a final taped confession. Karen left hidden in the box. She explained the unthinkable. Mark had discovered her past and had been approached by someone offering money, lots of it, to expose her. She didn't run. She was taken. And Mark had helped cover it up, thinking he was protecting their children. Everything Emily believed. Shattered in a single breath, Emily sat alone in the living room, the final tape still playing softly. Her mother's voice, calm but tired, spoke of forgiveness, of hope that one day the truth would come out. The police reopened the case with the new evidence, and after days of questioning, Mark finally broke down. He admitted everything: how he was approached by a man connected to Karen's past, how he believed cooperating would keep the family safe, and how, once Karen disappeared, he buried it all to protect Emily and her brother. He hadn't known. She would be gone forever. Karen's remains were eventually found in a remote area, and the man behind her disappearance, one of David Holloway's former partners, was arrested soon after. The truth had been buried for 14 long years, but now it was finally out. Emily stood at her mother's grave months later, a soft breeze blowing through the trees, and promised never to let her story be forgotten. She started a blog and later a podcast called Hidden Names, helping